Morning Sim fans, Racing 393 with glasses, although these are not mine, because I don't have my own pair of glasses. Actually, I don't need them, do I? Because I'm not reading, that's a good point. I was looking at the computer screen this morning, just before I was doing a capture, and I was just noticing it was a bit double-edged, double vision, and I was thinking, God, I must be tired. I was trying to rub my eyes and that. I am tired. I haven't long got up. And then I realised that it's not actually it's not because I'm tired. I'm tired anyway, but it's because my eyes are getting shit. So I had to wear glasses just to sort of make sure I didn't have to like go and goggle-eyed at the screen. Actually playing the game and I'm reading it now. It's a little bit blurry, although my laptop isn't. In the day I need glasses, so rather than keep wearing my wife's, I'd better get my own at some point. Anyway, today's capture, GTR2 by Simbin. 2006 game, as I said on the capture. I did try a 20-minute, 20 minutes or 30-minute race, and I did some practice, some qualification. Qualified 10th in my class, which is 10th overall. And then it rained. I've got the weather on like changeable. Didn't have to do that, I suppose. I was hoping it might change during the race. However, in retrospect, I've never driven that game in the wet ever. I've only recently just bought it on Steam. I've got the original because I used to play it on my old PC years ago. But like I said, I don't think the PC was as hot as what this one is I've got here, so it may have not have run it perfectly. And I'm a bit of a sucker for, I like running things maxed out. I have to do it max. So when this graphics card, I've got a GeForce GTX 1070. Once that shows signs of deterioration, I'll be upgrading. And this was like 500 quid, this card, and it's not a 1080. They were even more, well, at the time they're pretty cheaper now. It doesn't take long for things to sort of go down in price as of PCs and stuff. But being a bit of a techie geek as I am, I like my tech. I tend to buy it when it's out. I don't spend like stupid amounts of money, but I've always gone for the decent graphics cards. My PC's fairly long. The longevity of the PC's not bad. I've upgraded it again, a few other bits and pieces. So I suppose the next thing would be a processor, but it's got an i5 in there, so I can't remember the exact model off the top of my head, but it does what I do. I get, for example, iRacing, everything maxed out on a single screen, get 100 frames a second, so I think that's alright at the moment. I think sim racing games are not as heavy on the CPU. It's the GPU which really takes a pounding. Or was it the other way around? I'm trying to think. It would seem, because sim racing is not a lot, generally not a lot going on other than the track. It's not like a first person shooter which has got a lot of explosions and people running at you. I don't know. Maybe someone that might know more than I do can kind of go into a bit more detail and let me know. But yeah, so GTR2, Simbin, 2006, so 11 years old. But what a game! Great sounds, great physics. It's obviously an FIA official of the 2003 and 4 season. It was made in 2006. Well, that's when it came out, October 2006. Yet the actual cars are 2003 and 4. So obviously it had a lot of development time. But like a lot of PC games, this has got loads and loads of mods. Which I haven't actually downloaded anything yet, but it's a possibility, I suppose, with some more up-to-date cars. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But this is my first capture. I've not driven in the rain, as you'll find out. It's not brilliant. there's various reasons why. Well, I don't know. Maybe because I'm not very good at it. I've not played it that much. But anyway, I hope you enjoy it. It's good fun. I will do another. Hopefully it'll stay dry. But we'll go from there. And like I said on my capture, how do I end these? I just say bye, cheerio. Or the normal one would be happy sim racing from 393. Enjoy.
Morning, Sim fans. Racing 393 here for another capture. This time we're going to go back in time. Way back in time. To a little gem which I'm still fond of. GTR2 by Simbin. I'm going to try. One of the things I'm going to try and do is not keep saying because it annoys me. I've done it again. Here we go. Maybe I shouldn't bother. So yeah, a very in-depth game. Very much very much an underrated game. It's a full simulation of the GT series. I keep saying it's really bugging me now. We go on to the sort of car selection. It's the official FIA GT, so 2003, 2004. It may have dated slightly with the sort of the graphics. You can see they're very, compared to what's out there now, quite simple. It has a big variety of options to play the game. It's got, championship, single race, practice, the normal standard stuff. It's even got the 24-hour races, which have the transition between light and day, which is something that's lacking in some games. It's been talked about. I think the new GTR2, or whatever it's going to be called, which is out sometime whenever, I think, is it 2018 or not 80 next year? That's supposed to be out. Looks good. But yeah, the night and day transition is something which is sadly missing in a lot of games. It's also got obviously the official championship of 2003-2004. The only thing that's different is predecessor, which is GTR. It's got an unlockable where you can unlock championships and the ability to create a custom championship, which is again something you go to like Automobilista and what's the other game, like Assetto Corsa. That's all relatively new custom championships. Yes, this was already just part and parcel. It's also got a driving school, which is something that sadly lacks in a lot of games. It's got everything you need. It's got all the. This is the basis of everything that's in current sort of form today. When was this built? When was it out? Let's have a look. 2006. So in the EU, that'd be us. October the 6th, 2006. So they could have perhaps made it more current, 2005, maybe some 2006 cars. I don't know whether the FIA discontinued this series at all, but yeah, It's actually, I'm reading a little bit about it now, like the official blurb, and its selling point was the transition between night and day, and it's seamless and steady. Where the original, which I wasn't aware of that, had to pause while the transition took place, which I didn't realise that. But anyhow, and also you don't have to run the full 24-hour real time. You can have it like in a shorter burst, so the transition's quicker. So it's good. I mean, this is going back 2006, 11 years ago, and it's all in there. And it's taken them that long to put them in current games. That is weird. There is also like, you know, plenty of mods for this, to be honest. There's 15 real world tracks. It's got the famous ones, you know, the ones all like Spa, Monza, Imola, Barcelona, and there's like loads and loads of downloads. If you can be, I say bothered, if you want to go and search, the mods and tracks are immense. It was built for that. There's a lot of people that don't like mods, like games which rely on mods, like R Factor 2, R Factor. I suppose in today's set of course on the PC is a bit like that. So, well, R Factor is also PC based. So, yeah, I've not really done anything to this game. Just played it in its vanilla mode. Just going through a few bits and pieces. Everything's maxed out. So we're going to do Hockenheim. We've done some qualification, which you can see there. Oh, that's interesting. I saved this. Let's go to there. Oh, there it is. There. Sorry, it's my fault. I just put continue, so I didn't see that. But just going over a few bits and pieces anyway. So I've done a practice, and I did some qualifying. Put me sort of 10th in my GT class, which is what I'm in. It's got mixed class, which is a good thing. Half an hour. I'll edit that down, obviously, because it might be a bit boring. I haven't got maxed out opponents because the circuit I'm on, which is Hockenheim, the newer version. I didn't feel there was enough room on that track to have loads and loads of cars. You can't go below 100% on the strength, which is interesting. So if I'm not good enough to keep up on that, tough. I did notice that some of the GT cars in my class were quicker on the race when I was practicing, and the other classes are actually slower. So hopefully you'll see me passing a few vehicles this time. So we're going to load the last save. See what that puts me. I've never ever saved this game before. There we go. So I've done the qualifying 2. It's actually saved it when I sort of towards the end. Interesting. And you can see on here you've got some classes of GT class, NGT, G2, G3. Sort of a bit of a mix here. I suppose it's good to see the fact that the GT classes are all as they are, and I am amongst that group. So that's qualifying over. We've got half an hour, and we're going to give it a go. Continue to race. Actually, got to push that button. You have to. Although having said that, now the annoying thing, it's raining. which I have never raced this game in the rain. Which puts me onto, I've got intermediates, they've set that on there. It looks like it's going to be about 16 laps. 26 minutes, although it is raining, so I wouldn't have thought it might be a bit slower. I made a few changes. The cars are very, very bumpy under braking on some of the corners, especially the first hairpin. You sort of go around a right-hander, and then you got like a little tight hairpin to the right. That's really bumpy under braking. And then you got the long straight, which is round a loop. It's extremely bumpy under braking, which has thrown the car off. So what I had to do was soften it up a little bit. I think all I did, to be fair, was I reduced the springs from memory. I'm just looking down some of these figures. I don't know if that's actually, has that saved it? Yeah, it has gone down. I'm just trying to think what it was at. Yeah, it has gone down. So I softened the spring. I didn't save it, but it has saved it on here because I saved the game, obviously. Yeah, so I softened the springs, and I took the. I put a slower bump, so it tries to cushion the blow. It did make a difference, but you find you have to. Even here, you have to sort of be a bit careful driving the car into the corners hard, because it just tends to sort of get a little bit light. So everything's on as it should be. I've got all my flag rules on. I haven't got full course yellow on. Daylight acceleration's normal, and time scaled weather. So we'll give it a go. I particularly like, and I've always said this, the kind of run through at the beginning. I'm in a Ferrari. As we go back through the class, I've got a funny feeling that that's me there on the left, because it's the back of the GT class. That's me, number 11, and then you've got like GTE. These cars here. And as you go a bit further back, it's sort of, some of these Porsches are in like GT2, GT3, and NGT. Got a few sort of those sort of sports cars at the back there. But I quite like the fact that it pans through. There's not as much build up and sort of atmosphere, but hey, this game's 11 years old. Right. So I might do a formation lap just to give you a feel for what it's like. But I forgot to say, I am using my H pattern. I couldn't find a control that puts the wipers on. Just sort of going through some buttons on. There we go, there's my lights, so I put them on. Couldn't remember where my lights were, so I do need them on. The thing is, you can flash people, it doesn't make any difference. So as you can see, the rain, although it's raining, it doesn't actually impede your visibility on the screen. Which is probably why there's no control to put the wiper on. That's a shame. That's something they sort of, unless there's a mod, there might be a mod that can put that on, I would think. It's all there, isn't it? It wouldn't take much for it to wipe the screen. You've got your normal cameras on here, your left and your right. as they stop for the hairpin. And what I'm interested in is how the computer takes over, because I'm not going to skip the formation lap at the moment. The disappointing thing is that this game, it really rocks when it's dry. In the wet, I'm not so confident now, because I've never ever driven this game in any rain sim. I'm on intermediates, and I don't know how the car is going to handle. Even changing gear, it kind of loses traction. So, probably a good idea that I've gone straight from a rolling lap into a race. I'm just wondering from memory whether the game seamlessly goes into, because I've got control of the car, obviously, so I'm guessing it should just run with it. Now the graphic looks like it's sequential on the old gear lever, but the clutch, I tried that, but you had to declutch, and normally you don't need to do that. So here we go, pace car's in. It's not trying to spin straight away. It's not done yet. Grip. No grip at all. Trying to keep ahead of the slower class. Heel and towing on this car, have to. This is really hard. I've gone off. Big understeer. Does not want to turn at all. Half an hour of this should be fun. I don't know whether the tyres warm up very much. I've simulated that. And I'll just slow down. I have got look into Apex on 20%. Which when you spin you can go a little bit off, but I quite like the way it looks into the corner. Pressure by the lower classes. Very bumpy there. So it's got the legs on the straight. But my car doesn't really go around corners very well. So, that won't happen. The GT cars are gone. I'm assuming that's a class below me. Got to use the heel and toe on downshift, otherwise it just locks the rear wheels. Or the front. Doesn't like those corners. Around the corners. On the straight there's no match, but off.
Are you okay in there?
Yep.
Don't move until the marshals get to you.
How's that me out? So am I out? That's it then. Game over. Stay here till the marshals get to me. Okay. I'm waiting. It won't start. Oh well. So that was that then. Again, it's not 20 minutes. Should we have a little replay? Do something. Oh. I was there for so long. Go back. Well, that's that then. Quit. I hate that word. And there we go. And I can restart the race, so I might do that. So where did I finish then? What did it say? Suspension damage. Not where did I finish, why did I retire? So, finish the race, and there we go. 25 minutes. Right. Continue. So there we have it. GTR2 in a very short version. A very much underrated game. I mean, I probably wasn't as into my sim racing actually back then, but obviously now I'm heavily into the sim racing. You get more appreciation of what the cars are like, what games are like now, the Sims, and what they were like then. This was a very good game. I just don't think my PC at the time run it maxed out, so you had to sort of dumb down the graphics here and there. But this is running flat out. So, and again, I'm not sure what wheel I had back then. I can't remember now. Maybe one of the Thrustmaster wheels, or maybe back in the earlier days, Microsoft Sidewinder. So in its day, not bad, but they're nothing like today's wheels with the Fanatec and the so on and so forth. So it pretty makes a lot of difference if you've got decent equipment, enhances the game more. So yeah, if you've got Steam and you've got a reasonably good PC, it's only about £6 on there or something. It's not very much. Get it downloaded, give it a go. Proper GT racing. It's an official FAI product. So until the third one comes out, oh, there is GTR Evolution, which you might have a look at. But yeah, it's good fun. I mean, that's the first. To be fair, that's the first time I've raced in the rain, and although it put me on intermediates, maybe wets would have been helpful. Maybe that's what it was. I just sort of went with what the game put me on there. So anyhow, that's GTR2 for this time round. More of that soon. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Happy sim racing. Actually, I never know what to end the broadcast in, as in bye, cheerio, see you later, or just nothing. But I think I might do just Happy Sim Racing. There we go.